AEW did a bad number because people that usually watch AEW went to watch Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer instead. I mean, that's basically what he's saying. Rudolph did a strong number because the AEW fans decided to go watch Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
What's going on, everybody? This is Dr. Chris Featherstone for another episode of Running with Russo with the man himself off the frame. Ladies and gentlemen, former WCW World Heavyweight Champion with those biceps, former TNA head writer with those biceps, former WWE head writer with those biceps of steel, ladies and gentlemen. Vince Russo, brother. How are you, my man? Off the frame.
I hope you had a great Christmas with the family, man.
I did, man. Chill, relax. I took them out to eat in the morning, and then we ate like Christmas food, cooked Christmas food in the evening. We chilled. We had a great conversation. I love my kids so much, man. I love my kids. We had a conversation of I just like sparking really fun family conversations. And we had a conversation of current, like, trendy phrases and words. So I learned about Giga Chad face. I learned about W Riz face. I learned about I am him. I've kind of heard about that, but I heard of Himothy. That's another one. I'm Himothy. You know, that's the thing. I heard that said before, but they gave me the breakdown on that. So they gave me the scoop, and they caught me up to speed on today's trending words and phrases. So that was a great conversation.
I bet you pro wrestling wasn't one of them.
No, we did not talk about pro wrestling whatsoever.
Very nice.
That's for sure. Nothing of the sort. I hope you had a great Christmas as well, Vince.
Yeah, my daughter's here and my son's here with his two kids. So yeah, it was crazy, bro. Crazy. They're still here. I think they're leaving on Saturday.
Nice. I think you'll like this. You know what I bought myself today, actually, as a little fun present for myself.
What you get?
Ready?
Yeah. Very nice. Very nice. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
Yes, indeed. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Chicago loved AEW Rampage back in August of 2021. I believe it's the August 20th episode. It was the Tony Khan, like a week or two before that, announced that CM Punk was going to return, was going to make his long-awaited return after almost 7 years away from the business altogether, minus a little small run as a commentator for a WWE Fox program. But as far as in-ring competition, nearly 7 years, like 6.5 years gone. And so, what was it? I think Royal Rumble 2015, if I'm not mistaken, is when he left. If I'm not mistaken, I'll confirm that. But I think it was Royal Rumble 2015. So it was a long span of time that he was gone, and it garnered 1.129 million viewers. That was one of the first ever Rampage episodes. Garnered over 1 million viewers with the return of CM Punk. The week after, Vince, it lost over 400,000 viewers, but still did over 720 though. And so lately though, it's been barely making $100,000. So with that being said, they were kind of going away from Rampage anyways. It was the second show. It was the B show. But then they brought in Collision, who's also dwindling in numbers for the most part. They got a recent little bit of a spike. They got a little bit of a spike, a little over 600,000. But at the same time, still numbers that are dwindling altogether. Now, Rampage is done, Vince. And so from 1.1 million to finished, what happened in that span of 3 years, a little over 3 years, that caused it from 1.1 million to finished?
Wow, bro. Well, Chris, I think it's easy to answer because I always said the key to my success, with WWE, TNA, WCW, was always consistent good shows week after week after week. I think it was the opposite for AEW. I think it was consistently bad shows week after week after week that has led to a dramatic drop in audience. Chris, Vince McMahon made it real simple for me. If it's good, they'll watch it. You with Vince, you didn't make excuses like this. You ready for this one, bro?
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer did a big number as well.
Meltzer said that in regards to AEW's bad number. Listen, this is legit. Listen to this.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer did a big number as well.
Can you imagine, bro? We're now comparing wrestling to Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, bro. You never dared say to Vince something else was on the other channel because Vince made it clear to me, bro, if it's good, they'll watch it. I don't care what else is on. And bro, that still rings true to this day, Chris.
Of course. I mean, here's the thing, Vince. Yikes. I'm gonna trust you in that context being Meltzer. By the way, CM Punk left Rumble 2014, so it was a nearly 8-year gap between coming back. But wow, so Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. With that clip, I'm gonna trust that the context is Meltzer was comparing why AEW numbers aren't as strong as they should be.
He was justifying the low number, and this was part of it.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer did a big number as well.
That's a legit clip from his show. Legit. That's not doctored or anything. That's a legit clip from his show.
So one of the most booming sports viewership over the past 5 or so years have been college football. And so college football has surged in popularity over the past 10 years. And so they have no issue with staying in their lane and being amongst the best in viewership. NFL too. NFL is still one of the best. I mean, you're talking about 80% of Nielsen ratings. It's usually something related to sports, particularly NFL. And so does Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer ever say, we got a low number because the NFL? No, it's two completely different entities.
Burl Ives as the snowman never said that. Burl Ives.
I guess
we got killed by wrestling last night.
Oh man, that daggone Raw. That daggone Dynamite beat us again. It caused us to take the kid demo away. I don't understand the logic when it comes to that, Vince. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, what the heck does that have to do with AEW Dynamite? Are you saying that the 18 of 49 demo watches Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer?
Well, think about that for a second. Let's just play this one more time, and then I'm going to break it down.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer did a big number as well.
So what he's saying is, listen to what he's saying. Let's really break this down. AEW did a bad number because people that usually watch AEW went to watch Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer instead. I mean, that's basically what he's saying. Rudolph did a strong number because the AEW fans decided to go watch Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Yeah, it should have zero correlation. If he's saying that it has a correlation, that just means that Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer was the preferred show to watch in that time slot versus AEW. I mean, that's essentially.
And Chris, he'll take it to this extreme. He'll say on one hand, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer drew a strong number. But then he'll also say, well, there was a, there was a, the president had a speech last night. So what is it, bro? They're going to listen to a president's speech or to watch Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer? Like, those are two totally different things. But he does that every single week. Oh. Every week, bro. Whatever was on in that time slot, every week.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's interesting. I've asked you this question in a different way before, and I'll ask you again because I'm wondering, for those who didn't watch the last time or so, I'm going to ask you again. Do you think that Dave Meltzer, and again, personally, I've interviewed him before. He was nice to me. Now, let me say that. He was very respectful to me. I've talked to him multiple times. He's been respectful to me. I'll say that. But when it comes to this stuff, it makes me wonder, do you think that because Dave Meltzer, in a way, that he's like the uncle of AEW? Because, like, it's really Cody's baby, but it's Cody's baby because he was nudged by Meltzer with the tweet. So to sell out, 10,000 seat arena, right? So he's like the uncle of AEW. So because he's like the uncle of AEW, when he see these numbers, do you think that he has such a vested interest in AEW because he had a lot to do with its birth, that he sees his numbers? So then the cognitive dissonance starts to kick in very strongly. And then he gets to the point where he has to figure out any other reason. It's like it's like the ex-boyfriend that finds every reason behind the book of why his ex-girl said that he doesn't. Yeah, I've been sick a lot lately, and we haven't had a chance to go out. Like, just finding every reason in the world to justify his wrongdoing. Listen, she didn't want you anymore, dude. Like, let it go. And with Meltzer, it feels like he has such a vested interest because this is partly, his thing, that he doesn't want to see the decline of it because he had something to do with it.
Well, yeah, I think that, Chris. I think also ego. I think also afraid of losing credibility. Bro, you know what it's like, Chris? Here's what it's like. I remember when this season started, the NFL, there were a lot of high hopes for Jet fans. Just like AEW starting, they have that big thing in Vegas. Remember they had the big thing? Oh, yeah. Everybody's talking up AEW. Jet fans, this is the year. We got Aaron Rodgers. We're going to the Super Bowl. This is the year. Here's the difference. When the Jets got off to a horrible start, the most loyalist of Jet fans were saying, man, were we wrong about this team. That's the difference. Meltzer is 5 years in. And bro, it's very similar to Tony Khan. Mm-hmm. If Meltzer would just say, you know what? I was really wrong, man. I was really off base. Yes. And if Tony Khan would just say, Chris, this is all he has to say. We got to do better.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you have. Until you say that, nothing is going to ever change, Chris. Nothing.
100% agree. I mean, every time we say that, I call it the dominoes effect, man. The rebranding of Domino's. Yeah, we suck and we're going to rebrand.
Yeah.
And people respected that. It increased the numbers and people, and they're thriving now, more than they did before because they did a complete overhaul. They did a complete revamp. And it just makes me wonder because we see a lot of reasoning between like text and just complete like there's an omission. There's just you're just trying to just pretend that it doesn't exist. that numbers are dwindling, and you're saying, man, what a wonderful Dynamite. Of course, Tony Khan, him being the head of it, he's going to prep it up as much as he can. But again, man, I'm just saying this was someone with an undergrad in PR. You got to get a PR agent. You got to have an overhaul when it comes to this stuff, because people see the dwindling numbers, and because you have a pro wrestling culture that's so bloodthirsty, they're bloodthirsty when it comes to seeing the demise of a company too. So that's no different than seeing it in the ring. They want to see the bloodthirsty type of results when it comes to the death of a company. You know what I mean? And so if you are honest with them and vulnerable with them and say, you know what, man, you know, we hear you. We hear you. We've heard, you know, we've heard the crowd. We've heard the voices. We've heard the majority voice. The majority opinion is we're doing too much when it comes to matches. Y'all want more stories. Starting next week, it begins. That's all you need, because that creates a cliffhanger. That creates suspense. Now people are like, oh, now they're going to start more stories. Now I'm intrigued, because that's a breadcrumb. That's breadcrumbs leading into the next week. You better deliver the following week, but at least give us more stories. And I just, that's unfortunate that they'll drive this philosophy and they'll drive this type of infrastructure to the ground, man, with these match. And so,
yeah, it's, you know, Chris, if you just said, listen, man, we've been doing this for 5 years, whatever, bro, the mass audience is just not interested in our brand of wrestling or our type of wrestling. Bro, it's the same thing. We always compare everything to sports. Bro, if you have a losing team, the owner is going to know they're just not interested in the team we're putting on the field.
100%.
It's that you can make all the excuses in the world. They're not interested in the team we're putting. That's why nobody's coming to watch them.
Correct. And that's the reason why coaches get fired. I mean, if it's not working, you know, like for instance, I'm a Ohio State. I follow college football altogether, but particularly Big Ten. Purdue sucked this year. Their coach Ryan Walters fired. I mean, and because they weren't good, and they're trying to hire another coach to make them better. And it's just that's business at the end of the day. The problem is when you own the business.
Yes, that's what I'm going to say, Chris. The problem is when there isn't a head of creative to fire. There's no head of creative to fire. That's the problem, bro.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, yeah, and Meltzer, I mean, again, man, he feels like I personally think that he feels like he has such a vested interest. Yeah, you know, I mean, he has such a high stake in this because he was part of its creation. Yep. He's like he'll throw out Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer because that's just simply cognitive dissonance. Right. That's how cognitive dissonance works from a psychological standpoint. You'll see the cognitive dissonance in Dave Meltzer by this Rudolph numbers because it makes him feel justified in his line of thinking. That's how cognitive dissonance works. So when you see those things from the outsider perspective, from someone who's not in his mind, they're like, what the heck does that have to do with each other? But in his mind, he's like, you're right. Oh, it's simple. You know, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is simple.
You are absolutely right, bro. Absolutely right.